Have you ever felt like you didn't quite belong where you were? Like your soul yearned for a completely different landscape, for different sounds? For me, that feeling was always there, even as I was born and raised on the sunny shores of California. The sound of the waves was beautiful, sure, but my heart longed for the roar of lions, the ethereal trumpeting of elephants, the cheetahs racing with the wind. This indescribable passion for animals steered me down a different path from childhood. Instead of dolls, I had stuffed animals. Even when I played hide and seek with my friends, I would imagine myself deep in forests, among wild creatures. Documentaries were my favorite TV shows, and National Geographic magazines were my most prized possessions. As I grew older, this passion only intensified, and it was the biggest factor in my choosing to study biology in college. With my graduation, one of the biggest dreams of my life came true. I was accepted to work at the world-renowned San Diego Zoo. My address was now 2920 Zoo Drive, San Diego, California. Here, I lived alongside fascinating creatures from all corners of the globe, caring for a rare species, feeding them, observing their behavior. Every day I learned something new, gaining an in-depth knowledge of wildlife. For 2 years, I worked at this amazing zoo and enjoyed every moment. However, that deep longing inside me never really went away. The African savannas I had read about in books and watched in documentaries pulled me in like a magnet. I wanted to know these magnificent creatures living in their natural habitats more closely, to fight for their protection firsthand. This desire was so strong that I finally made one of the bravest decisions of my life. After 2 years, I left behind my safe and comfortable life in San Diego and set off into the unknown. My destination was the Masai Mara Reserve in Kenya. This was where the heart of wildlife beat, and I wanted to find a place in that heart to dedicate myself entirely to the mission of protecting these animals. The first moment I set foot in Africa, I felt like I had arrived in a completely different world. The smell of the earth, the difference in the vegetation, the endless blue of the sky, everything was captivating, but also challenging. Adapting to the harsh climate of the Masai Mara was not easy at all. During the day, the scorching heat seeped into my bones, while at night, the freezing cold would make my teeth chatter. The dust, the flies, the unfamiliar insects. But despite all these difficulties, the smile on my face never faded. Because this was where my dreams came true, and I wasn't afraid of hard work. That MY first days in Masai Mara were like learning a new language. Nature was speaking, and I was trying to understand it. The wisdom and experience of my local colleagues were invaluable to me. It was thanks to them that I learned the secrets of savanna, how to read animal tracks, and how to sense danger in advance. My daily job was to patrol, track animals, and most importantly, prevent poaching. With the first light of dawn, we would jump into our off-road vehicle and travel for miles. Sometimes we wouldn't see a single sign of life for hours, and sometimes we would suddenly encounter a pride of lions or a migration of hundreds of antelopes. Every moment was exciting. Every moment was educational. My 2 years of experience at the San Diego Zoo guided me in many different situations I encountered here. Knowing the behaviors and needs of different animal species was a great advantage. However, here, the animals lived in their natural environment by their own rules, and that was a completely different experience. Thanks to my warm and outgoing personality, I quickly established good relationships with the local people and the other conservation officers. They saw my passion for animals and my dedication to my work. They trusted me and shared their knowledge and experience with me. Working with them further increased my respect for this land and its people. In my free time, I would usually take walks within the reserve, observing the living habits of lions, elephants, rhinos, and many other species. I always had a notebook with me and carefully recorded everything I learned. These notes gradually turned into a valuable source of information about wildlife. Months passed quickly, and I got used to life here. I can now drive my ATV skillfully over rough terrain and confidently navigate the dusty roads of the savannah. Normally, we would always go on patrol with a teammate. This was important both for safety and for expanding our observation range. But that morning, things took a different turn. My patrol partner suddenly fell ill. The duty couldn't be postponed. Even the slightest gap could be dangerous when it came to poachers. Although I had a slight feeling of unease, my responsibility to the animals weighed heavier. I took enough water, snacks, and my necessary protective gear and set off alone. The weather that day was really hot and stifling. The sun beat down fiercely on the vast grasslands, as if burning, but the determination inside me and my love for the animals gave me strength. I believed that the solo patrol would go smoothly, just like any other. My off-road vehicle slowly made its way through the bushes, leaving a thin trail of dust behind it. Along the way, I recorded the footprint of some antelopes and kept a keen eye out for lions. Suddenly, I saw a strange truck parked near a thicket. My heart started pounding rapidly. Something wasn't right. I slowed down, stopped, and took out my binoculars to examine the truck carefully. The truck looked new and didn't have a clear license plate. My suspicions grew. I decided to approach the truck and signal for the driver to stop. At first, the truck continued to move slowly, as if it hadn't noticed me. But with a determined look and a firm hand gesture, I managed to stop it right in front of me, just a few feet away. I politely but firmly asked the two men in the truck if I could check the back. The men barely said a word, just silently nodding. When I opened the back of the truck, the sight stunned me. There, tightly chained, lay a helpless rhinoceros. I knew at that moment that they were poachers. Just as I was about to rush to my car and get my gun, the two men quickly grabbed me. They told me to be quiet and not to resist. Then they dragged me to a large tree and tied my hands tightly with rope. I threatened them, telling them that they wouldn't escape the punishment of the law. But the two thieves ignored my warnings, quickly started their car, and disappeared in the blink of an eye. I was left all alone under the hot sun. I struggled to free myself, but the rope was too tight and left red marks on my wrists. My throat was parched and sweat poured down my body. The scorching heat of midday almost exhausted me. My vision blurred and my consciousness slowly began to fade. The silhouette of the savanna in front of me was becoming hazy. Just as I was about to completely lose consciousness, I heard a growl from behind me. The sound grew closer and closer, forcing me to regain my senses. When I opened my eyes, I was met with a terrifying sight. A pride of lionesses was approaching me and my heart was pounding wildly, fear seizing every cell in my body. The pride of lionesses surrounded me. I shrank back, not knowing what to do. Just then, they parted to make way for a large male lion. The majestic creature, with its sharp gaze, approached me. The male lion began to circle me. Then, surprisingly, it started clawing at the rope that bound my hands. I was terrified, but at the same time, I sensed that this strange action wasn't meant as an attack. Looking closely, I saw a large scar on the lion's neck, and a distant memory suddenly flashed through my mind. This was a lion that I had saved about a year ago when it had been attacked by a hyena. At that time, I had cared for it for 3 months, helping it to fully recover. With great patience, the male lion continued to work on the ropes. Finally, the strands gradually tore and loosened. I seized the opportunity, quickly pulled my hands free, and escaped the bondage. I almost cried with happiness and hugged the lion. The lion growled softly, as if acknowledging my thanks. Thanks to that magical moment, I realized that the kindness I had shown had returned to me in an unexpected way. But I hadn't forgotten my mission. I immediately left that place and headed towards my ATV. I got into the car, shaking but still conscious enough to turn on the radio and call headquarters. I reported the incident and the situation of the chained rhino to the conservation center and the local police that a police team was mobilized immediately. An operation to catch the two thieves was launched. I also coordinated with my teammates over the radio, following the tracks left by the truck. About 2 hours later, we found a suspicious truck on the edge of a wooded area. The two thieves were trying to escape the conservation area, but the authorities quickly blocked their vehicle and arrested them. The rhino, although panicked, had not suffered any serious injuries. The veterinarians at the center examined the animal and confirmed that it would recover well. Amanda and her teammates were overjoyed to see the rhino safe. They returned it to the vast grasslands of Masai Mara Reserve. The two thieves were taken to the police station and charged with illegal hunting and trafficking of rare animals. Amanda expressed her gratitude to the police force for their timely intervention. Her teammates returned to their daily patrol duties, while she headed back to headquarters to complete her report. Despite being tired, a smile touched her lips as she recalled how she had been saved by the male lion. She silently thanked life for giving her the opportunity to meet and help so many precious creatures. After finishing her work, Amanda drove back to the small house on the edge of the reserve where she was temporarily staying. She turned on soft music, tried to relax, and replayed the stressful events of the day in her mind. Before falling asleep, Amanda didn't forget to thank fate for giving her such a strangely lucky day. She smiled, believing that tomorrow she would bravely continue on her journey to protect wild animals. My friend, thank you for taking time to follow my story. The preservation of wildlife is the responsibility of all of us. Remember, each of us can make a big difference by taking small steps. If this story moved you, please leave a comment and share your thoughts with us. Perhaps you have an idea for wildlife conservation or have had similar experiences. Don't hesitate to share your story with us. Together, we can achieve much more. Supporting wildlife is one of the most valuable legacies we can leave for future generations. Remember, every living creature has a place in this world, and it is our duty to protect them.